Hello and welcome back to the channel. Thank you for joining me in another of my wonderful interviews. Today, we've got a man who has a rather large claim on his hands, and he can save us from the globalists and the New World Order and the Great Reset, he says. So, of course, I was fascinated to have him on the show. And in his email, he said to me, I have discovered that I am the real hereditary King of England, hereditary Earl of Shrewsbury and Waterford, the hereditary Lord High Steward of Ireland, the highest judge in the realm, and I can save the UK from the globalists, the New World Order, the Great Reset, etc. I have made King Charles III technically obsolete. Well, if that doesn't sound intriguing and fascinating, I don't know what does. Ivan Talbot is in Australia at the moment, and he joins me now. Hello, Ivan.
G'day, Richard. How are you?
Well, I'm very, very well. Thank you very much. And thank you for joining me on the show across the other side of the world, presumably having summer down there whilst we are suffering the winter, a wet winter here.
Yes, it's very warm here at the moment.
So this is an unusual claim. Now, we did have Greg Hallett on the show, who also claims that he is the King of England. So there might be a bit of a duel going on at some point. Presumably, you know of Greg.
I actually, just before we came on, I did a bit of research on Greg, and I don't know if I'll give you that now or if you want it
Right.
later, but I can rebut his claims.
Right. Okay. Well, that's all right. I'm more than happy for you, and I'm sure he'll be in touch, and he'll do the same. But anyway, it's all interesting stuff, and that's why you're on the show. So, first of all, then, how did you discover this? Tell us how it all came about.
Um, well, initially, I went for a holiday in the USA to Disneyland, and in there they had a little place called Universal Studios. And in the corner of this building was a lady with a computer. And it said you can check your names, the history of your names. So I
Hmm.
thought I'd give it a go just for a laugh. And I gave her my name, and she looked on the computer and she goes, "Oh, oh." And I said, "Well, what's the matter?" And she says, "Oh, this is British royalty." So, I chuckled,
Yeah.
uh, you don't get that every day.
No, of
So,
course.
anyway, I kept it in mind, and I finished my holiday, got back to Australia, and then I decided to do a bit of research on the Talbots.
Right.
So apparently, the Talbots their history is well documented because they're such a famous name in
Hmm.
England.
Right.
So there's lots of information on the internet, and you can get all that, and that's what I did. So I traced my name and I found all my direct line, which took a few years. It all didn't happen spontaneously,
No.
but I managed to pin it all down. Um, and then, well, I was pretty happy with that. So I started. Well, actually, I think I informed the Queen because I wanted the peerage.
Yeah. Oh, right.
Um, Um, so I sent her all the documents, and I think I even sent it to the House of Lords, but nobody was interested because there's a present Earl there at the moment. Um, Now he is actually in this lineage. There's a Sherrington Talbot in both our lineages. The guy that's there now and me. There's a Sherrington Talbot. Now he married twice, and I come from the first marriage, and the present Earl comes from the second marriage.
Oh, I
So
see.
automatically I have seniority over him. So in essence, that really settles my claim.
Right. So why did they push? Well, I mean, it's interesting that they weren't interested. I suppose having got power and in power, they don't want to give it away. But if you're able to prove it and it's there documented, then how do they disprove any of it?
Well, what I did, you see, you've got to issue a writ to claim it. So I
Right.
issued this writ in the House of Lords and to the present Earl, and he got very upset. Actually, I think I went to England. I actually lodged in the House of Lords. and I also
Right.
sent a copy to him as well in England. And I gave him my contact details and all that. And he got quite upset and threatened me and threatened to get Black Rod onto me and all this business, you know.
Hmm.
Anyway, he calmed down a bit, but he just didn't accept that I was the legitimate Earl, you know. And of
Hmm.
course, in the House of Lords, you know, once they settle something, they're very, you know, not very eager to change it, even if it's right.
Yes.
So you know, there's a bit of a battle there.
But if you've,
Which
I mean, what I don't understand is if you've got the documentation and you can go, here, firstborn, da da da, that there it is. It can't be disputed. It's not like it's hearsay, is it?
Yeah, but they're protecting the guy that's there.
Right.
I mean
Because
that I mean I guess you'd call it corruption, really, because that's what it
yes,
is. They're not following the law because peerage law says if I'm the person, it's mine, you know.
right,
I can prove
yeah,
it, which I did.
yes, and they just sort of poo-pooed it because, and I said,
Yeah.
but I guess what is it? I mean, you're an ordinary chap. I'm assuming you're not sort of Lord of Australia at the moment or anything like that, whatever.
No, no.
No. So you haven't got high-powered lawyers and things that can come in and say, this trumps you, get out.
Yeah. Well, I see. I've done a lot of legal work in the Supreme Court here in WA,
Right,
because I had some trouble with a particular woman, and she was making up all these lies and getting restraint orders on me and all this nonsense, you know. So in the end, I took it to the Supreme Court because the police were prosecuting me just on her hearsay,
right.
with no evidence. So I said, well, this has got to stop, you know. So I went to the Supreme Court the next time she did it,
Mm.
and they threw it out, her case out. They awarded me the case, and that particular case set a few precedents in law because I did the case myself. I said apparently no one's ever done it. Like it's called litigants in person. And the judge said I did the case better than the lawyer. So that's not bad, is it?
Well, that gives people encouragement, doesn't it?
Yeah. So anyway, he was very nice, the judge. He was on my side all the way, really.
Right.
I had some great arguments with him in law.
Mm.
And even on the day when I was actually proving the case, he got stumped, you know, sort of halfway through. I was citing the Justices Act and all this, you know, and he stopped me and says, "Oh, where does it say that?" You know. So I just rattled it off because I'd been practicing it for quite a while. So I rattled this Justices Act off, and he said, "All right, Mr. Talbot, stop." So I stopped, and then he turned to the Crown Solicitor who were defending it and said, "All right, Miss Thatcher was her name. Um, now, Mr. Talbot is right. So you've got to now defend your position, you know." And she
Ah.
repeated her argument 3 times in the court, which drove us all crazy.
Mm.
In the end, he said, or she said to him, "Have I persuaded Your Honor?" And he said, "No." He said, "You can't." He said, "You said just about everything you can say in law, but you can't beat his argument." Like I said, that set a precedence because no one's done it. So they had to change the act, the Defendants Cost Act, to pay me because I won the case.
Yes.
And this went to Parliament, and they had to change the law and all this business. So that was good because it made the ordinary citizen get paid like a lawyer. You know, you got a fee, which
Right.
was pretty good. Um, And then also in the actual cost, you see, the judge was faffing around a bit, paying me. You know, he wasn't paying me according to law. He wasn't paying me the proper amount. So I said to him, "Well, look, I'm going to give this to the Queen." So I said, "I want her to decide my costs." Now, I don't know if you know the Australia Act in Australia stops anyone from going to the Queen, which is
Oh,
totally
does
illegal.
it?
They can't do that.
Right.
So anyway, I spent a lot of time in the Supreme Court library and found all the precedents that says that the Queen has the ultimate power in law. You can't remove her prerogative, royal prerogative. Um, so I said, well, look, this Australia Act is void, and I want to petition the Queen. So I presented all the argument to to the judge. He read it and he said, "Yes, all right, I was right." He said, "This court must wait for the decision of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II in law." That was what I asked for.
Did you get it?
And that was my submission, actually. He,
Right,
he quoted my submission. So, the years went by. I wrote to the Queen and, you know, um, she never did anything, actually.
right.
Um,
Well,
um,
it's interesting you mentioned the Queen, and let me just change tack slightly here because some people say, and this isn't me necessarily saying it, he says, putting a big caveat here, but some people say that the Queen was only the Queen for 3 days, as indeed the King, the current King, is only the King for 3 days because he has to relinquish his crown and his thing because the crown is actually owned by the City of London. Now, that's a claim. How true it is, I am not prepared to say. But have you heard that?
well, I've heard it, but I haven't seen any evidence of it. But anyway, in my submission, because I proved to the judge that the Queen was the end of the law and
Hmm.
she has the ultimate say in everything, she can use that's her royal prerogative. She can do that.
Hmm.
Um, he upheld what I said because what I did, I re-established the royal prerogative because
Right.
the Australia Act struck it out, and now he struck it down and saying no. He said I can petition the Queen, which I did.
Yes.
So that was
So other
another
people.
monumental
Right. So other people
decision.
can do that now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
But
that's another.
she didn't reply to you on that occasion, and what was the so did she reply to you on the fact that you're saying, well, actually, excuse me, I'm I'm the hereditary king.
Well, this went on for uh 25 years,
Right.
really. You know, now towards the end of that 25 years, just lately when she was getting on,
Hmm.
I said, well, look, I've got to write to her one last time and push her
Hmm.
to use
Push
her
her over the
prerogative.
edge. Yes.
Yeah. I said, I threatened her. I said, you're going to the big man upstairs and you haven't upheld your oath, coronation oath. I said, you better start doing the right thing. I was
Yes.
pretty bold, actually. And I've got the letter here. I could probably read you a bit of it. But anyway, in that letter, I quoted, Magna Carta, justice denied is justice delayed, and all that,
Yeah.
the Australia Acts and why she's got her prerogative. And I said, the actual judge, I said, we're sitting here waiting in Western Australia. We're waiting for your decision, on this case, and you've taken 25 years and you haven't done a thing. I was really upset.
Yes.
Anyway, what happened was, about a year later after the letter, because she didn't answer that either.
No.
So,
She's very busy opening shopping centres and things like that, and
yeah, but
pulling
it was a
curtains
very
apart.
powerful letter.
Right.
It was a very powerful letter. If I read it to you, you'd see why I'm
Yeah.
going to tell you what she did next. Because what happened was I went through a radar, speeding radar. Now, I definitely went through it because it flashed at
Hmm.
me, and I was probably 10 k's over or something. So anyway, I waited for the ticket and waited for the ticket. It never came. See, in that letter, I actually asked her, see, because the police were harassing me, so I actually asked her to stop the police harassing me. That's all I asked her to do.
Right.
But what she did was, like I said, I waited for this ticket, but it never came. And, and I went through several more radars and no ticket. So this went on for 4.5 years.
Wow.
So I
Okay.
believe that she made some kind of royal command that placed me above the law because I wasn't getting any fines or anything for 4.5 years.
Right. But she
So
didn't tell you that. She didn't say, look, if you
no,
just
no.
leave me alone and you can go and speed as much as you like and park where you like and you won't get any tickets. You just had to find it out for yourself.
Well, well, yeah. I mean, like I said, I was pestering her for 25 years to use her prerogative to protect me because that's what I was
Yeah.
at, protect me from the police.
Right.
And I believe she did it. She
Oh,
did it.
right. Oh, okay. As long as you didn't press the business about being the king.
Oh, I did though. I did.
Yes. And
Um,
she never
well,
answered that.
Oh no, I castigated her about what she's doing with all the laws, with the gay laws and the prostitution laws and all this business. I let her have it. And she
Mm,
actually answered one of those letters, in which I castigated her and sent it to the Governor General of Australia. So I don't know whether she expected him to do something or what.
mm.
Well, he did nothing anyway.
So what did she say
But
to
she did
that then?
answer the letter.
Right,
Big pardon?
what did she say? What did she say? My
Well, I
husband
didn't
and
get a reply
I.
from her. I got a reply from the Governor General
Oh, right,
saying that the Queen had read my letter and passed it on to him for, I presume, action.
right. Oh, okay.
But but of course he did nothing.
Mm.
Hmm. So
So,
she did
okay,
read it.
she did. Yeah, she read it, and as you say, she passed it on. So what happens then? So here you are. You've got this information that puts you as the hereditary king of England, which presumably they're ignoring. So you can't really do anything about it because the bully boys with the weapons are just saying, shut up and stay in your corner.
Yeah.
Um, but if you did, now here's the intriguing bit that you say in your email, that if assuming that you were able to, suddenly somebody came in there and they said, well, let's restore the right chap in, and there you are sitting on the throne, you've got the comedy hat on, you've got your scepter and all that sort of stuff, and you say here, I can save the UK from the globalists, the New World Order, and the Great Reset. So what would you do?
All right, I've got it written here.
Excellent.
So the first thing I'd do is I'd stop King Charles III's Great Reset.
Fantastic. I think there'll be a big cheer going out now.
Yeah. The second thing, I would stop the World Economic Forum and its ideas.
And how would you stop them?
Well, we just wouldn't listen to their edicts, would we?
Right.
Wouldn't follow
Yeah.
their edicts
Yeah.
because they're only
Just
edicts. They're not laws.
no, of course. I mean,
They're
they
they're
can
they're,
meet
they're
privately
things.
and smoke their cigars and see their prostitutes or whatever they do, but you don't have to listen to them, which is what the current government is
Yeah.
doing.
Well, that's right. It's the government that's listening to them.
Yes.
And anyway, they're a foreign power. Our government's not supposed to be following anything they say.
Well, quite.
Yeah.
I wish somebody would tell them that.
Yeah.
You,
Well,
you know, somebody would
I
just
think I
remind them.
think I
Excuse
did.
me.
I think I did. I told Charles. I wrote to Charles.
Oh, did
Um,
you?
yeah. Another fantastic letter.
Hmm.
Explaining the whole situation. I explained the COVID situation. Sent him all the evidence. Nothing.
When you write to him, I mean, because you've got the proof that you are the hereditary king, and you're sort of writing to this usurper who's sitting in your place. Do you write very informally? Can you just sort of go, "Hey, Charlie, now listen to me. I am the real king. You're mucking about in my realm. Could you please, firstly, bog off, and secondly,
Well, I
don't."
didn't. I didn't put it that way. Well, I put it very nicely to him.
Right,
I informed him I was the senior royal in the realm, which I am
right,
because I'm above him.
yes.
But I said, look, I'm not a threat to you because all I want you to do is do your job, really, I suppose, and
Well, do
protect
do your
us.
job. Yeah, really, you're asking me
Yeah,
to do your job, so you don't have
yeah,
to.
yeah.
I just give you
So
the instructions.
yeah, so and that's why I wrote to him because I told him about I wanted my peerage. I told
Mm.
him to stop the COVID vaccines. Am I allowed to say that? um,
Well, you've said it now, so
Um, and I sent him all the evidence, because there's pages and pages of evidence about the side effects,
yes,
which Pfizer has actually published.
exactly. I mean, it's like a sieve now. It's coming out everywhere.
Yeah. So the evidence is there, and he as a person looking after us should jump
Mm.
straight onto that, shouldn't he?
Well, he should absolutely,
Yeah.
but he
Anyway,
hasn't. I mean, he's turned up the other day at Gap, whatever it's called, 28. What's it called? The not Gap.
oh, cop 28.
Cop, that's it. Gap, that's a high street shop here. I'm getting confused. He's one of the models in the catwalk at Cop 28. That's right. Yeah. So he was still involved, and I thought he said before he was going to be the king, oh, I'll have to hang on with his ears flapping. He said, I had to, I'm going to give up all of this nonsense because I shall be the king. I've got to be neutral on all this. Well, that went out the window.
Yeah, exactly. So in essence, after I sent him that letter, he actually failed in his coronation oath, didn't he?
Yes.
Like his mother, I suppose.
Yes.
Although she did act in the end, she did actually protect me for 4.5 years. So I suppose that was something
Well,
in a
did you go
roundabout
to you?
way.
Yes. Did you go to her funeral?
No,
No. So what
no.
relationship? What relation? If you're the hereditary and you've got all this through the Talbot family line, what relation are you then to the Queen, would have been to the Queen, and indeed to Charlie Boy?
Well, what happened was that their lineage and my lineage are parallel.
Right.
Um, we both come from a Earl David, I think, of Huntingdon.
Right.
Now
Yes.
he had two daughters. One was Margaret and one was Isabel. Now the Queen's line comes from the younger daughter Isabel, and
Right.
my line of Talbots comes from the elder daughter Margaret. So automatically, I'm superior
Mm.
to that lineage. So I outrank the Queen in that respect. So that's another. Um,
Yes. Well, that be, and so I'm going to be interested then when you rebut Greg's claim
yeah,
on
well,
his. We'll come to that in a minute.
yeah, I'll show you that.
Yeah.
But they're two different lines. Mine's just more senior than theirs. But oddly enough, the Queen Mother, her line comes from a Talbot line.
Right.
So she is Queen Elizabeth is actually a cousin of mine, a distant cousin.
Yes. Gosh.
Yeah,
So
interesting.
the Queen's mother was much closer to you than the Queen, obviously. No, I mean, not not in physics, but within the
Yeah,
lineage.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yeah. Um, so yeah, a lot went on with me and the Queen. We had a lot of well, what would you call it? Love-hate relationship, with her. I mean, she did answer a lot of my letters, which was quite good. Which means she reads them.
Yes.
It's not as if she doesn't read them.
No, I mean it must
Um,
be very upsetting if there you are sitting on the throne and you get these letters from this upstart from down under. It says, "Excuse me, I'd just like to let you know that I'm more senior than you. Here's my lineage. Now, what are you doing?" It must be a bit of a worry for them. Other than the fact they've
yeah,
got the
well,
beefeaters and
well,
the army and
it upset the present Earl.
yes, I bet it did.
Anyway, the thing is, here's what I was going to do.
Hmm.
So the third thing was stop the World Health Organization from
Yes.
taking over our sovereignty by health rules and regulations. You
Right.
like that one?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I mean,
Um,
that's one of the things that everybody's up in arms. The sovereignty of everyone. Where is it in May or April? May they're going to do this signing. So
yeah.
if you could intervene before then, we would all be very grateful.
Well, it's up to the people, isn't it, really? I'm here. I have
Yes.
the authority, but I need the people behind me. I guess
So
that's why I'm here with you.
right. So how do we? So they need to see the proof, I suppose, then to say actually your claim isn't as mad or as nutty as they might immediately think, and go, hang on a minute, this chap is actually genuine. We can see it in the hereditary. What do you
Lineage.
call it? Table lineage
Lineage.
and the
Yeah.
yeah exactly.
Well,
And
it's all on my website.
right. And okay, so that's a good time for me to quickly shove up your website so people can have a quick gander at that. Here it is.
Now,
So,
if you go to about
right, where is? I just got to find the about bit.
up the top,
Oh, up the top. So,
see
uh,
about there,
uh,
where the big long line is. Now, down the bottom
oh yeah,
in the heading,
oh yeah, here we
along
go. Yeah,
about.
yeah. No,
Now, go
sorry about
right to
that.
the bottom
Yeah.
and click on that.
So here
So
we go.
there is
Ivan's
everything. The
right.
DNA.
DNA summary, connection to the British realm, kings and people, and that presumably is your shield and arms, coat
That's
of
the
arms.
Talbot shield. Yeah.
Right.
So
So,
if you
and
see here,
yeah,
that line, that there is this, I'm related, or I should say, they're all related to me. I'm not necessarily related to them because I'm more senior. And all these are all Scottish clans. Yeah,
right.
well-known names, really.
Yes, yes. Well,
But I'm senior to all of them because they have my DNA, but I don't necessarily have their DNA. So whoever was that guy, that Talbot in that time, he went round all those tribes there and spread his genes.
what a nice chap. Um, so right, so there's
So
a
so
lot. Yeah,
so there is the if you go to number 2 on this list, it
yeah.
says
Here we
unique
go.
terminal DNA haplogroup FGC 19532 to Rollo the Viking.
Wow.
Now Rollo was the first Duke of Normandy, and William of the Conqueror is one of his descendants.
Oh, I see. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So he married a Scottish woman because the Vikings conquered Scotland everywhere, and he had his um um sons and daughters or whatever it is. Um and I'm descended from his line. He's the Duke of
Right.
Normandy, Rollo, the first Duke of Normandy. I'm directly descended from his line.
Gosh.
And then it goes to the Sinclair. There's another interesting one. If you go back up to number 3, there's
Here we go.
actually where not 3, where is it? Oh, we've jumped a little bit. You have to go up
Oh, I
a
beg your
Oh,
pardon.
there,
Oh,
number
here.
3 there.
This one.
The Scottish Sinclair clan are the Templar family. You know, the Templars, the
Hmm.
Knights Templar?
The Knights Templar. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I'm actually connected to them because in that line, that's the lineage going back to Rollo. So I'm actually connected to the Templars as well,
Wow.
the Knights Templar.
So as you say, it's all. I mean, it's all on here, and people can take all this
Yeah,
information and then go look it up in the official
yeah, and all
wherever it.
the DNA is there. I put it all in there, so
Right.
it's not lies or anything like that. They're actual DNA results.
So
Um,
then, and you said it's down to the people. So the people would then have to demand and say, look, we have the evidence. Here he is with all of this, and it goes on for a long time by the looks of things.
well, this
But
goes right through the line of Adam, from right back to Adam.
good gosh,
And this, if you go up a little bit to that last bit, that there is Jesus's. I actually come from Jesus's lineage. Just scroll up a little. See the maternal line? No, down. Sorry,
sorry. Here we go. Oh
maternal
yes, here.
line there.
Yeah.
I come from Zerubbabel. If you follow that line over and down, they're Mashiach, not Mashiachs, Exiliacs, and they were the leaders at that time. They were the Jewish leaders. So it
Wow.
goes, and this is a DNA result I have. So it goes
Right.
down through these people because they all have the same DNA. So I've got their DNA. So that's a Davidic bloodline, and it's Jesus's bloodline as well.
Gosh.
Because that's Mary. You see down the bottom there, it's got Mary.
Yes. Here we
Well,
go.
that's yeah. So that's where Mary and Joseph, their bloodlines,
Oh, I
both come
see.
from this one person.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so going back then to the fact that it's the people who've got to do this. And by the way, the link will be in the description, ivanparty.org, and you can go here and see what you make of it. The new monarch for the UK and Commonwealth to restore normal government, which is, I can tell you, we all want that.
Hmm.
So that's fascinating stuff. So what are you asking the people to do? They've got to take that proof and then write to what the government and to the king and say, oi, just abdicate now to the correct hereditary king.
Well,
Uh,
the thing is, are you going to accept? Are the people going to accept this um, Great Reset? Are they going to accept the World Health Organization, the United Nations taking over their country? Are they going
well,
to
we all
really accept that?
we, we all love a little bit of old Schwab and his mates Bill Gates and Tony Blair and all. We love them. We love, who doesn't like a nice synthetic burger with your mealworms on a Friday morning stuck in your 15-minute city with your digital ID and a camera facing you. I mean, it's the perfect solution. No, you're quite right. Nobody wants any of this nonsense.
Now, I'll tell you something else. I'll just go to number 4 here because this is very important.
Mm.
This is Stop the Satanic United Nations and its rules-based international global order. Have you heard of that?
Part of it. Just read that. Read that again. Stop
The
satanic.
rules-based international global order.
Right, the rules-based. No, I haven't heard of the rules-based international global order.
Haven't you?
Well, I
My
might
goodness.
have by different names. I mean, there's so many different these.
All right.
You know.
Well, the other name is the New World Order.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, I know it from that. It's just that there's so
What?
many of these different think tanks in all sorts of different names, but they all seem to be at the end of the day, all roads lead to Rome, as it were, and they all seem to be
Yeah.
the same bunch of rather undesirable people you wouldn't want at your party.
Well, they just changed the name. That was all.
Oh, okay. Change the
So,
name like we wouldn't notice.
yes. Well, apparently, our ex-prime minister Scott Morrison signed us up to it. Oh no, and apparently I've got some paper here, unbelievable, where apparently they've been signing us up to this new world order or this rules-based order for the last 10 or 15 years. All our
Yes.
politicians in Australia, all
Yeah.
political parties. And
Yeah.
apparently Boris signed you up to the rules-based order. And I've got it here, actually. I can read it out to you if you want.
Yeah. No, do.
Um,
You probably mentioned me by name. We'll sign that Vobes up for definite.
right, here it is. Um, This is political declaration setting out the framework for the future relationship between the European Union and the United Kingdom. It says introduction. Now this is item 2. It says the Union and United Kingdom are determined to work together to safeguard the rules-based international order.
Well, that yes, the United Kingdom, which of course is a corporation and nothing to do with the men and women of this world. But yeah, I mean, I take your point.
So Boris is the one who put this out.
Yes.
Now also, I've got it directly from the horse's mouth here. This is from The Guardian. It says here, Boris Johnson may wish otherwise, but the old world order is finished. And it says here he is worried. Oh, it says and declared himself in favor of a rules-based international order. He was worried at the emergence of a non-state actors with contempt for global liberalism. Well, that's us.
Right. Oh, thanks.
In favor of foreign office phase, he said, we cannot allow this to happen.
Right. Well, that's very nice
So,
of him.
yeah. So he
Well, this
signed
is
you up, and we're all signed up to this. Apparently, it's all around the world. And it's
yes.
here. I'll show you. This is the United Nations organization. They put out this pamphlet. I don't know if you can see it.
Hang on. Let's go to a
Um,
better screen.
where
Yeah,
are we?
there we go. We're
There.
getting it.
Wait a minute.
We put it in
It's hard
front
to
of your
get this.
face. If you put it right in front of your face, we'll see it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there we go. And then that's it. The United
United
Nations and the
Nations and the
rule-based
rules-based
international
international
order.
order. There you are.
Nice.
And there's a whole brochure on that, which you can get off the internet, and it tells you
Good.
what all their plans for us.
Nice bit of bedtime
There's another
reading.
one, a newspaper here, why Labour would go to war for the New World Order. This has all been published in the papers.
Yes.
Forum charts New World Order. These are all from the paper. So it's all out there, but people just haven't clicked what's happening. You know, world government, they're just not. Well, the politicians aren't telling them anyway.
No, no. I mean, some people are trying to, we are trying to tell them, but
Yeah.
some people
Now, this
have
is a
been
very
so duped.
interesting. This is a very interesting newspaper clip. Now, this is our ex-prime minister Scott Morrison, and
Right.
he's talking about the death of Prince Philip, and this is what he says: "With his passing, we say farewell to another of the greatest generation, the generation that defiled tyranny." Well, that's a good one.
Mm.
That one at peace and built a liberal world order. Well, they didn't tell us, did they?
No, they certainly didn't.
And that was the Queen and Prince Philip. So they
Yeah.
know all about it.
Oh, well, they're part of the big club, as they say, aren't they?
Well, that's treason, isn't it?
Well, I know it is treason, and he's trying to get somebody to be able to go up there and bang on the door and say, "Excuse me," a bit like Charles the First. I'm afraid there's a man with an axe here who would like to serve the proper procedure that treason usually has.
Here's
But
another
anyway,
one from President Trump. If Trump just quits the rules-based order, what happens next? So they're all
r-
in it.
right. But if he, so what would happen next if he quit?
Oh, they just get someone else.
Right. So tell me about Greg then, because I'm interested now. Because people come up and they say, "Well, I've got this here lineage," and I'm not challenging it one way or another because that's for people who understand how these things work. I'm just a YouTuber who peddles his
All
wares
right.
on the internet. But so I can't remember now what Greg's claim is. It's been a while since we had him on the show.
I'll tell you what his claim is.
Right.
He's descended from a beheaded Queen Anne Boleyn
Ah, yes, that's right. Yeah, that rings a bell.
and Sir
So
Walter Raleigh.
right,
Yeah.
and
So if you can
and
believe
so
that,
okay. Well, let's say that's true because he's not here to defend himself.
right?
How do you
Now,
how? Yeah, go
all
on.
right. Now also, now Anne Boleyn. I looked this up on the internet.
I wouldn't read everything.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say everything's true on the internet, but there you are. Is it on
Well,
Wikipedia?
this is Wikipedia.
Oh well, it's got to be right then.
Well, they're only giving you dates.
Right.
Um, where are we? Oh, here we are. Anne Boleyn
Yeah.
was born in 1501.
Nice year.
And of course, she was
Nice
Henry
year.
VIII's wife,
Yes.
right?
Temporarily.
So he's taking his descent from 1501, right?
Yes.
Well, my descent goes back, well, right to
Well, as
Adam,
you said,
actually.
right back to the Vikings.
Yeah, mine
Yeah.
goes back through Edward the First, which is England, which is
Yeah.
1307, or no, was it? No, 1239. Who else was there? And I traced the line from Edward the First because it's on my site,
Mm.
and it's all here. All the dates, who married who, the Plantagenets, and all the rest of them. The Butlers. The Butlers were the Earls of Ormond in Ireland.
See.
Down to this Purnell Butler married a Talbot, which is my line.
Right.
So there it is there.
Yeah. So you
So
you trump him.
oh yeah, easily,
Yeah.
easily.
Now Greg has
Um,
about 13 books, which I think he uses to sort of show what's going on and talks about the Magna Carta being a fraud and various things like that. Do you have a book that outlines your case?
only what's on the internet.
Right.
Um, because it's all documented, like that lineage you saw. In
Mm.
fact, there are three steps on that particular page, which breaks it up with all the various lineages. Because what actually is it's all very spiritual too. Because what happened was I think it's King Hezekiah was the last king of Israel. Now he went to because I'm also the king of Israel.
Right. Just
Yeah,
load it
yeah,
up.
descended through the lineage
Yes.
of King David's line. Um, Now, what happened was the prophet, can't remember it was Baruch was one of them. Anyway, that I think Nebuchadnezzar, I think it was, or one of them, killed off all the male line in Egypt, in Israel, and there were only daughters left. Um,
Right.
Now, this one daughter with one of the prophets, I'll think of his name in a minute. they took the stone of scone. Do you know what that is? Or scone,
I've
whatever it
heard of
is.
it. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I've heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the stone where all the kings of England and Scotland are crowned over.
Oh, is that the one that Greg says that he took back to that he's got? He knows where it is, or he's buried it, and there's a replica.
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I
There's
don't think
some
anyone knows where the real one is.
right because he said he got it in Scotland. I think there's a picture of him. I may have got that wrong, and if Greg, you're watching, I apologise if I've got it wrong. But I thought he took a stone from it's quite a big thing, and he chucked it in the back of a van, and he knows where it is because he also claims there's a sword that he knows he's got the real sword of something or other,
Oh my
and various
goodness.
various things.
Anyway, they took this stone and they got in a boat and sailed to Ireland. Now
Right.
the boat crashed on Ireland, and this girl married into the High Kings of Ireland. And that I'm actually I've got the DNA here, which lines me up with the High Kings of Ireland. So
Mm,
I'm descended from that lineage of High Kings of Ireland, which goes all the way back over to Scotland and
right.
down through all the Scottish kings, to the English king, to the Earl of Shrewsbury, and all that business. So I can
So
trace my descent from Israel, the last lineage of David's line, to this. I think it's Queen Tia Tefi, I think her name was, um, who took this stone and married into the High Kings of Ireland lineage, and that's where we get our history from. Um, the Stone of Scone and all the rest of it.
so, how long ago
So
did you first? How long ago did you first discover this? When you went to World, Disneyland.
after that, oh, I can't remember
No, I
because
mean when you.
I
How old were
just
you?
began.
Was it how many years ago did you first? How many years are we talking about when you first discovered this? Set you on this path.
Probably 2000,
Right. So about 20
maybe
years ago.
1998
Oh, right.
or
Okay. So
1998 or somewhere around there.
yeah. Okay. So
Yeah,
this has gone on for like 25 years, more or less.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And how did you feel? I mean, I'm just curious because as you come across as an affable, jolly bloke that you could have a nice pint in a pub in Australia, visiting and all of that. And you're not the sort of one that's sort of all pompous and going, well, I'm the king and I ought to be on there. There's no sort of animosity I'm getting or jealousy about it. So how
Well,
when this
I'll
yeah,
tell
go
you
on.
something. Now, I'm a pretty religious person. I'm a Christian.
Right.
Now, when I was younger, when I was about 16, I could see the way the world was. And I thought, well, wouldn't it be nice to change all that? You know?
Yeah.
Uh, but of course, they're just ideas. But as I went along, and I did a lot of spiritual studies with the Bible. I read the Bible and from cover to cover and all that. Did a lot of research, into all the prophecies and everything. Um, and so what I said, and of course, there's a line where Jesus says, "Ask and you shall receive." I don't know if you remember that line.
Yeah, yeah. Very
And
famous.
seek and you'll find, knock and it will be open. Yeah. So I said, "All right, Jesus, I'm going to ask you. I want to save the world, more or less. It's a sort of big ambition, isn't it?
Yeah, very big, especially at the moment.
Yeah. So anyway, that was what I asked him, and I let it go at that. So as I was going into all the research and everything, all these surprises came up, and lo and behold, he made me the King of England. So
And
that's a
and
pretty good ask, isn't it?
yeah, no, that's great. So, but you must feel a bit impotent if you want to save the world. There you are. You've got the card to the club, to the head man, and be able to do it. But nobody, the bouncers at the door, won't let you in.
Well, technically, you're the bouncers.
Oh, I see. Yes, so it's down to us to say, look, we'll check out your authority, and the people need to do that, and then say, come on, Ivan, we reckon you should go in, and we all turn around and say, look, let this, because when I had the bailiffs at the door not so long ago for a stupid thing, and I said to them, who do you answer? And they said, the king. So in theory, we should be able to go to the police and say, look, you answer to the king. You're answering to the wrong fella. There's this chap down under who's a very jovial man, but it's proof. He's got all the proof. This is your chap. You should get him over and usurp the lot, use your power of eviction, whatever power that is, and tell the present lot in the house in Buckingham Palace and Balmoral to pack their bags fairly swiftly.
Well, it's funny you should mention that because I had a particular problem with the bailiff. I refused to pay my rates because the Shire we had airplanes flying over and they weren't doing anything about it. So I said, I'm not paying my rates till you stop these planes flying over. So anyway, the bailiff came to the door, tried to issue me with a summons to pay the rates. So
Right,
I pulled out this because I've got this. I went to Shrewsbury and they put me on the front page there in their newspaper, and it says the real Earl of Shrewsbury. So I pulled this paper out and I showed the bailiff this, and I said, "Look, I'm the real Earl of Shrewsbury, and I'm ordering you to not present me with this summons. I'm a
right,
lord in the House of Lords, and I'm ordering you to go away, to not leave anything here. Go
yes.
away." And he did.
And he did. He just took it at
Yeah,
face value, what was in the paper.
yeah, yeah.
This is what we all want.
Anyway, there is another Nostradamus predicted. I don't know if you know about this, but your newspapers were putting it out that
Yeah.
apparently an unknown royal is going to take Charles's crown. Apparently, the people are going to usher Charles out. They're going to throw him out.
I do think that's likely to happen. That's not just wishful thinking,
Yeah,
but
so that was Nostradamus,
gosh.
and he's
So,
been right a few times, I think.
yeah, I think he has. Well, let's hope that happens. So,
Yeah.
are you in a state of you've got some bags packed ready in case the call comes through, and they say, by the way, Ivan, you're on. It's like
I
here's your
tell you
crown, here's
what,
your scepter, and away you go.
in the beginning, when I found out I did have my bags packed,
Did you?
but 25 years later, you sort of get a bit
Yeah,
tired, don't you?
yeah,
So this time
I,
the bags aren't packed until I get the notification.
yes. I mean, it's a very surreal life that you must be leading, with your neighbour, whatever your neighbour does. And then it's like, oh, come over, Ivan, tell us more about being oh, I'm waiting. It must be very surreal for you.
Well, I don't tell too many people because it's overwhelming for them.
Yes. Or
Um,
they do people, I mean, those that do tell you, do they believe what you say? Do they hold the credibility? Do they say,
yes,
yeah,
yes. I have some people in England who are pushing me forward on YouTube. I am on YouTube as well. So if you type in Ivan Talbot on YouTube, I've got some videos there people can watch.
oh, right. Do
Um,
you have your own channel? Should I be promoting
well,
that? No.
I guess so.
Yeah.
So I'm out there, but I need millions on my side,
Yes.
some people actually asked me because they were saying we're going to have a revolution and we're going to get these guys, these politicians. And I said, well, look, um that's not really the way to go about it. You really want to organize yourself into groups, protest groups, protest to your politician, go storm Buckingham Palace, get out there with placards and whatever and say, we've had enough of this, get out. Really, that's the way you can do it.
Now, do you have a son?
No, I'm not married.
You're not. Sit down. There you are, hereditary king of England, and you've not protected the title then very well. If you need
Well,
to go out and quickly have a son, so you've got this to pass down.
Yeah, well, I'm not past it, you know.
No, I'm not. I'm not suggesting that you're past it by any means. Of course, I wouldn't suggest that. But I'm just thinking, you may be now would be a good time so that in 20 years' time, perhaps a young, sprightly chap, as you're sort of going, well, I've saved the world. I just need to put my feet up for a bit. And maybe my son, whatever you want to call him, Ivan the Second, for God's sake, don't call him terrible. And and then rest assured, and then we can all rest assured that your public, your subjects, because I get told off if I say that we're subjects, because a lot of people are talking about, and we're all sovereign, we're men and women, we're not a legal fiction, all of that sort of thing. So I have to be very careful.
Well, well, I really don't think the world has got that long to go
Do you
before the
not?
return of Christ. I don't know if you're very biblical or you know your
I get a
scriptures.
lot of emails, and a lot of them are telling me we're in end times, Revelations,
Yes.
yeah. So
Yeah.
what's your
Well,
thoughts on that then?
the thing is, when I asked Jesus for the kingdom, so what I said was, I want to bring in your kingdom, and establish your kingdom and help in the harvest. Well, you know what the harvest is, don't you? It's the people.
Yeah. Oh, right.
Yeah.
We're going to
Yeah.
be harvested.
So it'd be a
Isn't that what the
Christian.
WEF and the UN want? They want to harvest us, don't they?
Yeah, but this is for Christ.
Different.
It's not
Yeah,
for anyone
right.
else.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what I asked him for. Now, I believe he's done that, and one way or other, he'll get me to the throne, and I can carry out all these things I want to do. And I said to him, what I really want to do is I want to finish the church age, because I don't know if you know about dispensations, but we're in actually the church age at the moment, and the age after this is the Jewish age. It's all to do with prophecy. So,
Mm.
and what happens was I said, well, look, I'll bring the kingdom to the fullness, which is because with Christ you can do anything in this church age. You ask and he'll give you. And
Mm.
I said, I'll bring this kingdom to the fullness. And that's the bride of Christ. I don't know if you're familiar with that terminology.
No,
Um,
I believe there's a film of the same name, but let's not worry about that.
Yeah. So I said, I'll prepare the bride of Christ. And when that bride is complete, well, prepared, and what it is the number that's complete. I don't know if you know about the angels falling from heaven, a third of the angels. And we're to make up the third that was lost in heaven. So when that number is complete, the rapture takes place. You know what the rapture is?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, Jesus actually doesn't come to the earth. We go to him
Right.
up
So the
to
second
heaven.
coming is we go to him rather than he comes
Yeah.
to us.
So we go to him and we go into the marriage feast with the bride as the bride for 7 years. That's the tribulation, 7 years. Because that once we go, that Jewish age starts automatically.
Is that a good age or a bad age? The
Oh,
Jewish
very
age.
bad. That's the
Right. Oh.
Antichrist.
Oh. Right.
He's going to kill and he's going to slaughter. He's going to do all sorts. Haven't you read your Bible?
No.
Yeah.
No. It's frightening. It's very scary.
Well, technically, if you're a Christian, you won't be here, so it's
Right.
okay.
Oh. Okay.
So that's what I asked him. I'm hoping he's going to do it. We'll all be happy and get to heaven and get our reward.
Right. Okay. Well, that's fascinating. It's fascinating. Well, let's hope that. I mean, if somebody like me who hasn't read the Bible and is sort of trying to do good work and is not nasty, will I get still a chance to climb that ladder up and meet him?
No,
Oh dear.
no, no. Yeah,
I'm
the only
doomed.
way, the only way you can get to heaven is believing in Jesus Christ that He died for your sins. That's the only way. Quite
Right.
a simple
Okay.
thing to do, really.
Well, yeah, yes, but you've got to believe it, haven't you?
Yeah, you've got to
I
believe
mean,
He is the Son of God.
at the moment we're all struggling whether the world is a spinning globe or it's flat, whether whether there's a certain medical intervention that's good or bad for you, and whether CBDCs is a bit more than a way of sort of starting us off into transhumanism. I mean, we've all got a lot of issues to sort of deal with. I know the Bible's been around for 2,000 years, of course, and we should have worked it all out by now. But listen, I've got to come to the end because we've been going for nearly an hour.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I know, it's amazing how time flies. I've enjoyed it immensely. I haven't just had to sit here and nod. We've had a good laugh, which has been lovely. And of course, if you're the future king, it would be nice to be on your side. And I can be
Yeah.
there as the court jester, no doubt.
No, no, there
Um,
might be a title in it for you there, mate.
oh, well, there we are. Well, I'd rather that title than a Mr. title, which goes with the legal fiction and all that nonsense, which is
Yes.
part of the
So it's
satanic
really up
nonsense.
to the people. If they want change, if they want a happy life, they have to get me on that throne.
Right. Well, there we are. That's the challenge, ladies and gentlemen. Meanwhile, go and check out the website at ivanparty.org, I think it was. I haven't got it now in front of me, but I'll put the link in the description. Ivan, it's been an absolute joy to talk to you. Thank you so much for being, if it all works out and you become the king, what a lovely man you are. It could be a hell of a lot worse, couldn't it? You could have somebody who is power mad and even more than what we've got. So that's the thing. You seem like a very nice, benign chap who's got everybody's best interests at heart.
Well, I want a happy life, a normal life like you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's what we're all hoping for. So good luck, and hopefully people will watch this, go and check it out, have a look, and see where we go. And who knows, you may be doing that Arise the Vobes business. Not that I really want to be a sir as such. I'm quite happy just being me, to be honest.
If
And I
you
don't
get
even.
me there, Richard, you
Don't
deserve it.
bribe me. Don't bribe me. I don't. I just happy to be a nameless spirit inside this flesh and blood body, trying to do the best I can for people. And it sounds like you're doing very similar. So thank you so much, Ivan. It's been an absolute joy. I've really loved it.
All right,
And
thanks, Richard.
you take care and
Yeah,
enjoy
same
the
to you.
summer whilst you've got it, because we've got miserable rain, as I said at the beginning. So,
Yes.
ladies and gentlemen, there we go. Ivan Talbot, the real hereditary King of England, hereditary Earl of Shrewsbury and Waterford, and hereditary Lord Stuart of Ireland, who can save us from the globalists and has made King Charles technically obsolete. What do you reckon? Go and check him out. Put him on the throne. He sounds like a great guy. Thank you so much, Ivan. I've so enjoyed it.
Thank
Um,
you, Richard.
I will be back with more monologues and wonderful guests. Let's see if we can top that. Until next time, from Ivan and myself, thank you for watching and goodbye.